How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another HBAR update. I called this double top very early on, and once we had that capitulation day, I knew that that wasn't good enough to form a bottom. It will likely fill in the wick, and that was met with a lot of hate, but in the end it played out. In fact, when it got down to 17, 18, 19 cent, I said that the 200 EMA at all costs must hold, but please do understand when you get that bounce from here that we're expecting, I'm also expecting this to now just be retested as resistance. And that's not good enough to end this correction, because the correction will only end once this key level all the way up here is recovered. Let me show you why. If we look at this as our local bottom right now, whether it's long term or just a local one, we can see up ahead it's showing us the golden ratio, all these golden levels, and the final one being that 886. So unless 36 cent is recovered, then this is not fully confirming these higher up targets where we could see all the way up until 130, $1, 130, 140, 150. These are not going to happen, guys, unless 36 cent is recovered. And this move up tricks you into thinking it's the start of the move up to 36 cent. But I was warning, it's not going to be good enough. It's just going to test this previous support now as resistance. And all it's done is sent it back exactly where it was. So anyone FOMOing this way all the way up, it's gone wrong. And even when we had another move up into here, I was saying it's going to get rejected if you go back to the videos. So I'm really happy that I had the ability, or whatever you want to call it, to warn you guys to not waste money in these areas. Now, once again, you're finally at this final level of support. It has to be the bottom in terms of the bulls out there, investors in HBAR. This has to be the bottom if you want to maintain the macro daily uptrend. Why is that? Because this is the 200 daily EMA. It's taken an average of the last 200 days, and 200 days is more than half the year. So this is majority of the year, an average created through an analyzing majority of the year. So if you're then losing that trend, what does that mean? So for many months on end going forward, from the point of losing the trend, you're starting a new trend in the opposite direction. So that's how important this level is. Please do not be mistaken or complacent like many were here when I first was sharing these warning signs. In the end, we can see it's later developed into all my warnings. Now, as this is the final last layer of defense, it's going to start a multi-month further correction on top of what it's already done on the loss of this level. We can see it's played around a few times. Let me make it simple. If we see this key support loss, 17.5 or 17.5 cent, I don't know how you call it, but essentially losing this final level of support is going to start that much larger correction. Either way, even if you want to bottom out in this scenario, break 36, it's still going to take months, guys. So with that in mind, I think if it's still going to take months from here, like honestly, even if it goes up today and starts moving up, it's still going to chop and mess around with your emotions like this, but eventually going up higher. You know what I mean? That would still take months to chop, and once you get to that final resistance, it will bring a rejection. So there's many months to go until it really sorts itself, with a lot of choppy moves, maybe plus 30%, down 20%, things like that can happen. And so for me, at least for me, I'm not talking about anyone else here, but at least for me, I think that while I'm waiting for these coins to sort themselves out, to say, yo, it's fine to invest in again, once the reversal wave is created, I'd rather just wait in Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is going to be the first one to create that reversal wave and start a new pump to new all-time highs. So I might as well catch that first before jumping into a altcoin too early and then getting dumped on again. That's how I've avoided minus 60, minus 70%, like what has happened since up here. Now, I'm not saying I sold the top, but I've been buying Bitcoin, avoiding putting those DCAs into altcoins literally from before this point, from this point over here. The first top I've been accumulating, instead of putting money DCAing into altcoins, been DCAing Bitcoin ever since. Now Bitcoin still went down, but the least. And so if I had DCA'd that money into alts, that money would be down 60, 70%. And of course, when I saw those warning signs, especially on capitulation day, on that quick recovery, I knew it was going to keep going down. So that's the moment where I started selling off my low caps, holding on to the large caps, because Solana at the time was doing well. Trump's coin Trump's coin was a bit before, but that was also the end of it. in that short period of time when the Trump coin was released, the Solana ecosystem did well. While the rest of the market was like bleeding out, a lot of liquidity was going into Solana, Radium, Jupiter, and Trump token. Because of course you need to use Radium or Jupiter to get the token, and you're using Solana to get the token. And then if people taking profits from Trump coin, they were taking it to Solana. So there was this few days, this period where the rest of the market was going down, apart from those 4 coins. But in the end, everything followed lower. But there was a period some large caps were doing better, so I was holding on to some of them. And then when everything else started losing key levels of support, Solana started double topping. There a lot of FUD came out before it lost the 200 daily EMA. Up nearly at 190 over here, I was already out. Even though it's support, already out. And even if it starts bouncing up, it's not necessarily going to be good enough as well. So the whole market finds itself in this scenario, guys. And so for HBAR, must maintain this level. Although me personally, I don't believe it's going to maintain. I do believe it will be lost with the reaction from the last bounce here and here. It's weaker. It's getting weaker and weaker. The first bounce, I don't know if you can see, stayed at this level. It's got a higher candle closure than this area, so we've got lower highs. Any bounce once again should just lower high. In fact, we've already seen a bounce and it's failed to break through the moving averages. So just pretty much confirming the downtrend. If I go to the 2-day time frame, maybe you can visualize this slightly better. And you see it's condensed the days a little bit more. So it's kind of cutting out a lot of the rubbish. And you can see the true moves where it was just a retest of the moving average to retest the previous support as resistance. And now looking to finally lose this to get down into 15 cents. And of course, this is a bounce location, but I just don't think it will sustain and break 36 cents. So it's going to be choppy for some months. Eventually, one day it will. Please understand, I do believe one day it will break 36 cents. But we're months away from that, in my general opinion. But if I start seeing signals like 27 cent recovered and 30 cent recovered, yes, I'm going to be very inclined into believing that could be it. The bottom is in. Now let's break 36 and it's all good. But I'm personally just going to wait it out in Bitcoin. You can choose stables, but myself, I don't want to miss any potential move back up. I also don't want to be buying fiat. That is just me. Nothing here is financial advice. But if you want to hear more of my thoughts and opinions and the lessons I've learned from my 5 years of experience here, check out the Discord community or the mentorship options. The links are found in the description. And please support the channel in any way that you can, whether it's subscribing, liking, or commenting to bump up that algorithm and help me achieve 10k subs. Cheers, everyone.